For those watching the
Really
video,
enjoyed Ranking the King.
that is not true. I don't hate deaf children. For those watching the video, and for those listening to the audio podcast, Didgeridoo Dookie just lied in our chat.
Just
saying that I
lied.
hate deaf children.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boys, and we are back with the 30th episode, the big 30 episode of the DNAnime podcast. Come on, everybody, clap, 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 clap your hands. We are still here. It is me, Beautiful Crow, and my co-host, Vic Seal, and we're here to talk about some anime, have some fun, relax, hang out, and chill with your boys right now. As you're on your way to work, doing your commute, you're laying down for a nap, you're washing your dishes, whatever you're doing, keep us in your ears as we titillate your eardrums with our anime opinions that are always good. I'm sure. I mean, we haven't gotten a bad comment yet, so our opinions must be 100% correct on every anime that we talk about. But if you guys want to help support your boys, hit that subscribe button, hit a thumbs up, and give us a little boost in the algorithm. Man, the algorithms be beating us up. So if you want to help us out, then hit that thumbs up. You can also hit that notification bell to keep up to date with us on YouTube whenever the videos go live every Sunday. You also, if you listen to this on the audio podcasting realm, give us a review and let us know how we doing. You guys are our boss. This is like undercover boss, but we need to know how we're doing. Let us know. Join the conversation. But now that all the business is out of the way, Vix, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. I am ready to talk more anime. I'm ready to get into it with you and everybody else. Getting ready to talk about our current topic for today, which we'll find out later as we go through our normal, whatever we've been watching this week, whatever we've been catching up on. I haven't been going through too much, just like the normal stuff. I got like pretty much this weekend caught up. I did not watch the latest episode of DNAnime yet. So
yeah,
that
same.
is quite unfortunate, but I did see what happens in the next episode. So I'm excited to go watch it because I know what it is. So it is the chemistry moment. It is the chemistry moment between the characters.
Yeah.
You know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly, if you know DNAnime, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is the time.
I was gonna not talk about DNAnime, but we're probably gonna talk about DNAnime every single week because obviously the anime is going on.
We're just talking about I didn't go into it. I'm just saying I know what it is. I haven't seen it yet, but I know that you've been kind of itching to talk about one that we kind of caught you off guard with once before. You finally got to watch the first couple of episodes. What are your thoughts on The Notorious Talker?
So I was working on some clips for YouTube Shorts and TikToks. We have those as well. Go follow us on there. DNAnime on everything. But
those to our DNA.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was like, you know what? I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning today, and I was just like, you know what? Let me just watch some anime. So I watched, caught up with Daima. So I'm caught up with Dragon Ball Daima, and then I was like, you know what? Let me watch the first episodes. Well, actually, I did this last night. This is totally off topic, but I had a whole cup filled with rainbow sherbet, and I was like, let me watch some anime before I go to sleep.
You did say that you wanted to you just wanted some sherbet. I heard you on stream like, I'm just gonna go watch some anime and eat some sherbet. It's so funny when you say that because like sherbet feels so specific to me.
I don't know why I just been craving it. So I bought like this. I'm not gonna grab it. Normally I would, but this podcast time I gotta be serious. But I have this giant Kroger like square tub of sherbet that's almost empty.
I mean, when I bought ice cream, that's what I always did. Is I just bought the gallon pail of ice cream because I'm like, I know I'm gonna want more ice cream, so I'm just gonna get the pail.
I had to treat myself. I've been a sad boy recently, but I sat down with my cup of sherbet. And then I was like, you know what anime I'm going to watch? I was like, well, it's getting kind of late. I don't want to watch too much stuff. I wanted to go to bed because I knew I was going to be, live today. And I was like, oh, well, Notorious Talker. I see it's on my, like my you need to watch list. So I sat down, watched the first 2 episodes, right? And I'm going to give you my thoughts. Okay, so I don't know what the disconnect was. When you explained it to me, like my Beautiful Crow mind brain, like fantasized how the show was going to be. And while you were very accurate, like everything that you said was true, right? Because I was waiting, dude. Because again, that's the opening of like the episode before last of the podcast, or maybe it's 2 episodes now because the new episode just went out. But it's us talking about like, oh, he does all this stuff. Then they introduce the slave trade, and I'm all like shocked. I was like, what? How did they get there so fast? And so when I was watching the episode, they go through the whole thing where you meet the main character, and it's him as a kid, and he just looks like a lady, and he's with his granddad, who's the ultimate seeker
over death.
He's over the demon over death or whatever his name is. So I was just like watching it and I was enjoying it. I was like, okay, so his dad's or his granddad's like a legendary like warrior, and he's trying to become the ultimate seeker to live up in or be even better than his grandfather, who was the greatest warrior or whatever, and be like this new seeker. But you know, they go the whole thing where he's the talker class, and the talker class is weak because they're pretty much just the tactician and the buff. You know, he provides the buffs and the boost to the party, which I thought it was interesting how they kind of like showed it off, like when they were fighting the vampire queen or whatever. And so he was like, you know, he's weak, and they're like kind of like, you know, talking him up and you're like, oh, you know, he does have a lot of power, but he's, you know, good for a party. And it's, you know, him and the other 3 party members. So I kind of already known what, you know, was going to happen going into it. So I was just like excited to kind of like see everything play out, because I'm not the type of person that like when I get spoiled or something, I'm like, oh, you know, I don't want to watch it now. I'm like, okay, I want to see how everything plays out so I can make my opinion.
So,
Yeah, and that too. But yeah, so when they were going through the whole vampire queen thing, and he was kind of like showcasing his powers, like how he give them orders and be like, hey, they're attacking from here. And because he says that raised their awareness. Hey, you guys do your synchronized attack. It raised their, you know, attack. Hey, put up shields. He raised her defense. He cleared her mind when she was freaking out. Like, you know, he's very good as a team player, but obviously he's very weak. But then you see how he compensates for his weakness with his like abilities that he learned from his grandfather, like the little gut punch that you see later in the episode.
Skill.
And yeah, raw skill,
unfiltered skill.
And that's what I like. He doesn't seem very overpowered. He just is very confident. He does what he can to be like, he's very intelligent. He has a good ability to help other people, and he has enough skill to keep himself alive. And you kind of see it at first, like I guess at first, like the way they set it up, because they talk about how weak he is as his class. I was expecting him to like suck, you know, kind of like solo leveling, like the beginning of solo leveling, where like Sun Jinwoo's the E rank, he's the E rank hunter or whatever.
And he just
sucks.
becomes OP.
Yeah, but the notorious talker guy, he's like, no, like I'm going to use my abilities to the best of its effect, and I'm going to be intelligent, I'm going to be smart, and I'm just going to, you know, play everything straight. And he's not like overpowered. He's not crazy. Like everything he did was logical.
Yeah.
He just is kind of an asshole. But then you see how his grandfather raised him.
Yeah.
You're like, yo, man, you better
like,
get
hey,
this
to get
money.
To over death levels, man. You have to just not care.
Yeah. He was like, if you want to be the best, you need to have people respect you. Don't let anybody look down on you. They got to respect you as a man and as a seeker. You better get your money.
He made an example.
People need to know you need to be paid. Yeah. Oh, it was rough, dude. Because like at first you see them like it's a party of 4, right? And you know, spoiler alert, that party doesn't last that long. So they go through the vampire hunt and they get everything done, and they go back to collect the reward. And they're like, this isn't as much money as we thought it was going to be, but we have like guild, you know, taxes that we had to pay. We had to replenish our armor and our supplies and everything like that. So they were all splitting their money up. And then the main character, I forget his name, he's just like, oh, well, you know what? I have a plan. Because he's just like, I have my goal. I want to be, you know, I want to have a guild. I want to be the best seeker, and I'm working towards that goal. And I'm just like, he's just headstrong about it.
Setup, like he had the game plan from start to finish, and he was like, hey, we've accumulated enough to pull it together. I can cover the difference. We can start right now. And he's like, if we don't do it right now, then we're done. Like, I will find somebody that will do what I want.
Yeah, which is funny because like I was watching it and I was like seeing the group dynamic. So obviously you had the main character guy who's like the buff guy. You had the warrior dude, I forget his name, but he's like the big warrior meathead guy. You had the girl who's like the healer, and you had the leader guy who kind of like is in charge of everything. He's like another side warrior, like frontliner, right? And you know, they're kind of like doing the whole thing where they're setting up the party members and how they work together and their relationship. They go out for drinks after they do the vampire fight. And they're like, you know, the main character and the warrior guy get in an argument, and they kind of like, you know, he just teased them, fucking with him. And I was like, you know, start off kind of playful, but then you kind of like realize the main character is kind of an asshole. But you know, he knows like, how everything
like a
works.
Reasonable asshole, where it's like, as long as like you aren't doing stupid things, then he won't be. He's not a dick if you're not doing stupid things.
He's very logical and very blunt. And I think that, like, you know, it comes off the wrong way. But, like, when you see, like, he explains his reasoning for every decision. And it's always just like, oh, you know, I get that.
He's crystal clear about his goals, his backstory. He's like, there's no room for error. You know here that this is what I'm going to do. This is what I said. This is how it's going to happen.
Yeah. So I thought that was very interesting because at first I thought there was going to be, like, this schism between him and the warrior. But then lo and behold, you find out after they lay out the whole plan, they got all their money together, they're talking about their party funds and how they're going to build a guild. And they all come to an agreement after they, you know, discuss it and they have their like differences of opinions. They're like, all right, we're going to make the guild. Then the leader's like, hey, meet me, 2 days from now, and we'll discuss everything, finalize, and we'll get this all set up. Only for you to find out, like when the day comes, that the leader, the leader, the leader and like the healer girl, they skedaddle. And they're just like, oh, the leader, he got into some debt. He used the party funds to pay it off.
That was not what I was expecting them to tell me.
Yeah.
When I was like, I was like you. I thought he was going to have an issue with the warrior dude because they set it up to be like that because dude was just hot-headed. And I was like, all right, well, where's it going to be? And then when they ran off, nowhere in my mind was I like, oh yeah, dude, they just gambled it all away.
Yeah, I didn't expect that at all, and I kind of like it because it's kind of like a grounded reasoning.
Yeah, it's like a real life thing. It's kind of like relatable, like that. I'm sure somebody watching knows somebody that has done something similar. So.
Yeah, I've seen all those steak ads on Twitter. I'm sure somebody to gamble their life away. But yeah, so when that happened, and then the warrior guy comes back to the main character, and he's just like, they fucking skipped town and they took all our money or lost all our money. What are we going to do? And then the main character kind of like logically breaks down like, all right, this is what we have to do. But he probably had thought about that. He probably thinks that we're not going to come for him because the money's already gone. And he, like, you see him work through the entire episode and see it like, he doesn't explain it all to the warrior guy because he's like, dude, you're stupid, but you're a good warrior and you're strong and I can rely on you. And they kind of become this team and they've come up with this plan to bring their money back. And watching all that was very fascinating because I didn't expect that. I thought that the entire team
went against what you thought was going to happen. It was like you thought that the warrior was going to be the one that broke the party apart. You thought that the talker would be, kind of weaker, but he like demonstrates his strength. And then you thought that the two that looked like they were the most reliable, you thought that they were going to be, and then they were like, oh, by the way, we lost everything.
Yeah, so that was very interesting. So as they I'll go ahead, like they do their whole plan, and they like, all right, we got to track them down. We'll find out which gate they left through. They come up with the plan where they go into a bar, they enlist other hunters to go find them, to cast a wide net, and then they're like, oh, somebody's got to have some information. They'll come out once I start flaunting the money. It's very interesting, very mind gamey, but it makes sense because, the main character, he's not very strong, so he got to use his mind. So they ended up finding them, and it's great because they find them and they sneak up behind him. He's just like, he wouldn't come after me. He's like, yo, he's like, what? Why are you here? And then he just immediately starts kicking the dude. He just starts kicking him and beating him up.
He was fully like equal rights, equal lefts. He started beating this shit out the chick too.
Oh, he was, because he shocks both of them with his like stun voice thing. And then he starts kicking the guy, and she's like, "Stop! You hurt him."
He was like, "Do you?" Yeah,
he's like, "You want me to start kicking you instead?" Because he's just like, "I don't care if you're a woman." He's like, "You wronged me. Beat you down too." And I was like, "Oh my god!"
Got them.
But pretty much. But he prefaced it because the warrior guy, he was like, "Oh, we can stop them, but what are we gonna do?" He's like, "We may have to kill them. Like they lost our money, they betrayed our trust, and they might not come willingly. So he's like, we may have to fight them." Or he's like, "Are you ready to kill our old party members?" And then the warrior guy's kind of like hesitant to say anything. The main character's thinking to himself, he's like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be rough for you," because he had already had everything mapped up in his head. He's like, "I'm gonna mess them up and make them realize you don't betray your party members," which I was like, that's reasonable. Like it's brutal, but I was like, all right, that's reasonable. We will get to the unreasonable part in a second. But yeah, he beats him up and he makes the girl confess, which is doubly messed up because it's like
the mind
he makes her confess.
Thing, I was like, when he did that, I was like, why does anybody not want to talk her on their team? That's just crazy.
Yeah. What's up? So like they do the talker thing, and they're like, he does the mind control ability to make her confess, and then after they confess, he's like, oh, she responds because she was like, you can't use mind control to convince people to do stuff that's illegal. And he's like, not if you're doing it against a criminal to make them confess their crime. And he has everything laid out, and you're just watching everything kind of like, dots, all the dots connected. And he sets up everything.
Every hole that you think you got, he's just like, thought about that one. Like,
exactly. And they set it up earlier because he was like, before they left to go find them, he was like, I have to handle something before we leave.
He's like,
so you go with this guy.
Make some plans here.
Yeah. So he was like, I got to take care of some stuff before we leave. And then after that, I'm going to meet you guys at the gate and we're going to go and find them. And I was like, well, what is he setting up? And in the back of my head, I'm just like, slave trade. So I was like, when does that happen? So after he makes them confess, I was like, oh, I thought he was going to do that in front of like the like officials or the guards or something like that. But it was just them and then the like poorer guild people who had saw them leave. So I was like, oh, he has witnesses that heard the confession. They're all gonna go back and whatever gonna happen. And then I was just like waiting. I was like, all right, well, you know, they did everything. Yeah. And then I didn't even really think about it because they established that they had already, like, you know, when they confessed, it's like, oh, they gambled all the money away. The leader was like, oh, you know, I lost the money and I lost the funds because I was stressed as a leader. And, you know, all that stress had to go out and he gambled it away. But he was like, no, that's BS. He's like, you gambled it because you terrible with money. You got a vice and you just didn't care. And you're using that as an excuse. So it's like, it's all this stuff going on. And then all of a sudden, this chariot like pulls up, like this big shiny
like
gilded
really fancy
chariot
one too. Like it ain't just like some rickety old Shaw or whatever. It was
and I was just
fancy.
like, oh, this must be the like the mayor of the town they just left, right?
Wrong.
I was like, oh, somebody, yeah. I was like, oh, somebody who got money. So I was like, oh, this must be like the guards are coming and then the head of the city's coming out. No, it's the head of a mafia organization who runs the slave trade. And he was just like, I'm getting my money. He was like, you gamble my money away. You're going to pay back with your body. And you're going into the service with them. And they're going to sell you into slavery. And I'm getting my 12 million back. And I was just like, oh.
They started like screaming at him. It's like, no, please don't. And he's like, look, I can either give you to this guy and you could potentially be all right. Or I can send you to jail and you'll die in 2 years. What you want?
Yeah. I just thought it was really, really funny that the main character, like he planned out everything. He was like, I'm going to get my money back by any means necessary.
And then the slave trader dude also tried to like reduce it because he's like, oh, you know, the guards are raising awareness for slaves. Because like, they make it really obvious that slave trade isn't legal. So
yeah.
They're like, oh, you know, they're buckling down. So, you know, prices have to go down. And he's like, or no.
Yeah, like him, it was really funny because I didn't expect him to play it like that. Because like when he was talking to the mafia guy, he was just like, oh, you know, so I gotta cut it in half. I'll give you 7 million or whatever it was, like 5 million instead of the 12 million. And then he was like talking and explaining his whole reasoning. And then the main character was just like 11. And he was just like, yeah, we'll pay the 11 or whatever. He was just like, wait. He's like, no, didn't you hear me? Like
screaming at him too.
Yeah, and he was like, no, it now went up to 12. Now 13, 14, 15. And just watching him do that, the dude was like getting more and more angry. His voice kept getting deeper and deeper. And then he was just like, hey, I'm going to sell it to you. Well, if you say that you bought them for this much and you paid this much for it, then the guards and the city won't have a problem with it because you paid under the buying price for it. And then you can also sell them for an inflated price because you say, oh, I bought these, you know, warriors or whatever. And now it's fucked up because of slavery. But, you know, it was very fascinating, his mentality, and he made it work.
Move the cargo.
So he made a profit. The guy said never again, but he was just like, you know, actually, he gave him a job offer. Yeah, he was like, you only go get over on me this one time. But then he was like, you need to come work for me, man. You're really smart. He was like, nah, man, I want to be best seeker. And I was like, do you evil? And then he sold them off. And then the warrior guy was just like, oh. Yeah, he went back and he was just like, I'm done, dude. Like they met up at the bar. And then the main character was just like, hey, you know, things happen, but we got our money back. You know, those guys betrayed us. So whatever, you know, it happens. Don't worry about it. We'll rebuild. And then the warrior guy was just like, I quit. That was way too much, man. I'm done. You know, he was like, are you sure? You know, we can make it big. He was like, nah.
Either like later on, after like season or episode 3, episode 4, he does not let up.
Yeah, he's rough. You do not want to mess with him,
Warrior dude would have been okay if he went to like a regular party.
True and real, but not the guy whose sights are on the number one spot.
He was a little intense.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes. I was just like, this is actually more interesting than I thought it was going to be. Because when I started watching, I was just like, oh, you know, he's just like a teenage boy or whatever. And he looked all soft. And I was just like, oh, you know, he's probably going to be lame. Because they kept hyping up how he had the weakest class. I was like, oh, but I was just like, no, I really like how they
disrespecting the support classes, though, man. Support's important.
Yeah, true and real. I never do support. I started doing it. I'm playing Fire Emblem right now. That's what it reminded me of. I'm playing Fire Emblem. And it reminded me of like the sport class, like the dancers and the bars and stuff like that I wouldn't normally use. I just use all warriors. I actually don't like using mages either because they're so weak and they get hit and they die.
Oh, I
But no,
love
support.
mages. I love Pegasus
Yeah,
Knights is my favorites though, because they move
did they
so
get
far.
shot with one fucking arrow?
And then they full die and I full restart.
Yeah, boy. But yeah, so it's really cool how they set him up. He's not like overpowered or crazy. He is weak, but he's doing everything that he can to shore up, you know, his
They
I
do a
guess
good
status as a
job
venture.
of portraying him as a threat instead
Yeah.
of just like Overdeath was known to just be overwhelmingly powerful, but he is like putting himself out there as like an overwhelming threat as opposed to just like being strong.
He is scary.
Nobody wanted to fight Overdeath because Overdeath would just kill them. Nobody wants to fight this guy because they will end up dead probably or worse.
Yeah.
So
That's what's like, it's crazy like how like you could feel his grandfather's teachings, but it's in a different way that's being used. Because like that's one thing I want to talk about really quickly, because his grandfather was like the world's greatest like warrior or whatever, or seeker, but he was old, so he's like and it's, the whole anime starts with him like their home village, you know, typical anime or JRPG start. Home village gets attacked by a bunch of demons, burnt down. He goes out to protect the village. He's an old man now, but he's like, I'm going to do everything I can to protect everybody. You know, even though I'm past my prime, don't worry about it. Yeah. And I did not expect it when he came out, like the main character came out the next morning and he saw his grandfather on the ground. I was like, oh, you know, you're going to have to slow down if you're going to talk to him. And then the camera cut and changed and it showed him on the ground. And I was just looking, I was like, where your legs at? And he proceeds to have a whole conversation. He's just a torso with one arm. It was messed up. But yeah, so I'm really enjoying it so far. It's not
good one.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying it. It's nothing like to write home about. It's not gonna be like, oh, top 10 anime or anything like that. But it's really fun how they circumvent your expectations. And I'm really enjoying it because the main character is interesting.
And
I'm excited to see where it goes.
Outside of the like main ones that everybody is already looking at, it's one of the newer ones that's being introduced this season, and it's like it's still good. So yeah, like if you are in this season of sequels, there's so many season 2s this season, but you need a good one to watch. If not a season 2, Notorious Stalker is definitely good.
Yeah, boy. So I've been really enjoying that. And I guess just to quickly touch on it, Dragon Ball Daima, I was able to catch up to that because I wanted to catch up with it because everybody's been asking my opinion on it. And I'll keep this very brief so we can hop into the topic, or Vic, so if you have anything to talk about. But all right, here, let's go to you. I talked about Notorious Stalker. That was something we shared. But what have you been watching this week? And I'll touch on Daima right before we hop into the next topic.
I've just been watching like the normal releases. I watched the latest episode of Notorious Stalker. They kind of went into more like details on like his capabilities and his like synergy with the next party member, and then they're talking about the party member after that. I feel like if anything is going to ruin the Notorious Stalker, it's going to be the girl party member. She keeps telling him to call her his big sister, and then she keeps hitting on him all the time in like a very over the top way. So if anything's going to ruin it, it's going to be her being weird. So but he's straight up like, nah, that's dumb. Why would I do that?
There you go. Again, he's very logical. He's very logical.
He's like, this is a stupid choice. But like Fairy Tail's doing fairy tale things. It's still fun. I like watching it. It's like a blast from the past. Still just Fairy Tail. Just Fairy Tail. I love it. If you loved it before, you love it now. Same as always.
I need to get caught up, but there's so much Fairy Tail I need to watch.
Don just sitting in the back corner like, hey, the latest episode's out. I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Don.
Yeah. Just slowly undressing itself. It's like, hey, come on, watch me.
In the corner. You guys got an extra Don under there. Don.
But no, I'm also where you are. I got to still watch the next episode, so I will as well.
Yeah. I'm not watching much else. I feel like I was supposed to be watching so much this season, and I just feel like I'm so caught up all the time. I'm like, this is so weird. So
we were just talking about the drought. This is supposed to be like the boondoggle of anime.
Yeah, I mean, like when I look at my list, I got like 14, 15 on the list, but a bunch of them are on High Dive, and I'm like, shit, High Dive. And then like some of them I just haven't found yet. Like one of them, I don't even know if I don't know what this is. It's called High Gakura. Never heard of it before, but the little poster looks cool. But I haven't seen it. It didn't come up anywhere. I haven't seen any TikToks of it. I haven't seen any clips, no YouTube videos, nothing. But it looks good.
It looks good.
I still have Oshinoko on my list from last season, and it's on High Dive, man. Well, now knowing that High Dive's overhaul has made it less dreadful to go through, I may be able to just like make myself go do it now that I know. But otherwise, it's like generic stuff. Spirit Chronicles, it's generic. It's the genericest, most generic shit ever. So it's white-haired Kirito and his harem. If that's what you want, if that's what you want, there it is. Spirit Chronicles season 2. Shangri-La still fucking killing it. Shangri-La's amazing,
I haven't
dude.
started for Shangri-La Frontier yet.
Shangri-La's still fucking good, dude. It has no right to be that good. So
Did you hear where Shangri-La Frontier? Like I don't know if you ran across that TikTok, but the inspiration for Shangri-La Frontier, it was "Let Me Solo Her" from Elden Ring.
That's funny. I had not heard
mangaka,
that.
yeah, the mangaka duo, their first work was Shangri-La Frontier, and it started in 2019. And the lore behind "Let Me Solo Her" became the reason why Sunraku gets cursed and he doesn't wear any clothes. He just wears the bird mask.
That's hilarious.
And that's what they modeled it. So I was just like, that's actually really sick.
That's hilarious.
So I thought that was pretty funny. I was like, oh, it makes sense.
When mangakas can put their passions out into the world, so much better, so good. Everybody is happy. I'm happy. Animators are happy. The viewers are happy. The mangaka is happy. Just so much joy, so much happy.
Yes.
And then we go over to Tower of God, and they're still sucking it up over there. So we're not gonna talk about that.
Is this still going on?
Yeah, I mean it's season 2, but like they don't want it to go on. It's so dull now.
Boy.
Like there's so little happening, and then like the little bits that do happen, it's like 4 frames per second. It looks like shit.
That
I
sucks.
want to like it. The concept behind it is so cool, but I want to like it, but they just won't let me. So
That's the thing that sucks, because it's like, is that, and then do you want to talk about it? I feel like it's become a running thing, but Blue Lock.
I don't have any new input on Blue Lock other than like last week where we just talked about the reasoning why it ended up being so like trash. So, like now that we know why Blue Lock ended up being trash, I feel a little better about it.
But yeah,
like,
the
before,
update is that
I was so flabbergasted at like the release quality, and I was like, there's no way. There's got to be an explanation. Well, I got my explanation. So
yeah, but it does suck, because I know you were holding out.
Yeah,
you were holding out hope for
trash.
the U20. Yeah, the U20
I don't know,
match.
dude. I don't think they have to go on hiatus. I don't see them remaking it, or like they did not sink their budget into that part. They didn't do that.
Nope. Because they showed it, and it's still a slideshow.
So stop for a second and just let it go. Otherwise, we'll talk about it in the next iteration of our topic for today. Which anime do we want to see remade?
Yes.
Blue Lock season 2. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, that's rough. All right, I'll just talk about Diamond really quickly, and then we'll head into the topic of the day that Vic just said, anime remakes, because I feel like that's very topical right now. But yeah, watch the 4th episode of Daima. I'm really enjoying it. I really like all the lore that Toriyama's doing. Again, it's Toriyama's last work. I didn't expect it to be so lore heavy, but like the Demon Realm and all this different stuff, they play with a bunch of fun concepts where they introduce these bugs that have different status effects that you can use. And there's one status effect that actually intrigues me because of Dragon Ball, and I'm a meathead, and I'm excited for it. I guess I won't spoil this. It's like the most recent episode, but yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff in Daima. I hate the whole gimmick of like, how can we depower Goku? Oh, the air's heavy. Oh, he's turned into a kid, so he doesn't have access to his full powers. Oh, he's not used to his length of his limbs, so he can't really fight that good. So you got to get the power pole, I thought that was fine. But it's a lot of like, how can we not have Goku just instantly solve the problem? Which, okay, I will say this though. You really got to suspend your disbelief, because the whole thing of Daima is the demon realm is all thrown into chaos because Dabura, who's the previous king, died in the Buu saga, right? Mm-hmm. So this other guy, I forget his name, he's like a little dude, like I think it starts with M, but he's like, I'm going to be the new king, right?
Majin Dabura.
Yeah, and he's just like, something like that. And they're like, hey, I'm going to become the new demon king. But they saw the whole events of the Buu saga. They're like, oh, these guys are way too strong. If anything happens and they come here, they'll kill us and stop us. So we got to stop them. I don't know why they thought that was something they need to do. It really feels like we just need plot to happen. But they're like, all right, we got to stop these guys. But we can't just kill them because the Dragon Balls can't just kill people. But I'm going to go find the Dragon Balls, I'm going to wish on it, and we'll turn them to kids. And that was the whole game plan, to make them weak so they can't stop them. I guess they don't think they're gonna grow up and then beat them up like years later now that they know that you're a problem. But anyway,
That's a them problem.
yeah. So they wish them to be kids, and then Goku and them are just struggling, trying to figure out like what happened, what's going on. They take Dende so that they can kill them if they need to get rid of the Dragon Balls. They try to use those, and then all that stuff. And I was just sitting there watching the show. I'm just like, this makes no sense. Why wouldn't they just go to Namek and then use those Dragon Balls to be adults again? Use the other two wishes to get Dende back and just fix everything. But whatever. Let's not think about that. Let's have fun in the Demon Realm on this glorious JRPG journey. We ain't got to talk about that. We ain't got to talk about that.
Don't think about it.
But I was like, Goku could instant transmission
like, you
there.
Have fun, but don't think about it too hard. You
just
start
don't think about it too hard.
You start to have problems.
Because I was like, I don't want to because they could. You know what they could have done? Like use one wish to turn back to adults. Use another wish to bring back Dabura, because they already knew without the Babidi mind control thing, Dabura was a nice guy when they all died. And he was like hanging out with Chi-Chi and them. He's a decent dude, because he was like, watching Gohan fight Boo and all stuff. And I was like, they could just wish him back, had him go to hell, and then fix all the stuff. But anyway, whatever. Let's just watch the show and enjoy it, because I'm a Dragon Ball fan. But yeah, so far it's been a lot of fun. The animation is amazing. Really just night and day compared to the Super animation, because Super was very, very rough in parts. Very rough for a long time. And it got better later on, but then it was hit and miss. If Goku wasn't the main character on the screen, the animation just was not that great sometimes. But Daima has been fantastic all the way through. The fights have been really fun. I like all the lore bits. It's really fun getting to see Goku and stuff like that. I wish I could watch it in English. They're releasing it, the first 3 episodes, in theaters as like a theatrical release. I may, if I have time, I may go and see it, because again, it's going to be all English cast. I think it's going to be really cool, and they're bringing back the original English voice actor or actress for Goku, which is old raspy Goku from the original Dragon Ball, and who played young Gohan. I'm my father's son. Like that voice actress, she's great. I know a lot of people don't like her rendition of Gohan and Goku,
I think they were great,
but
fantastic.
It's fantastic, amazing. I love her. She's great. And I think as much as I get why they changed it, I will always rep the original voice actress for Gohan and Goku, because she had that raspiness that made them sound like boys. You know what I mean? So I forget her name. I think it's like Carrie. I don't remember what her last name is, but she's coming back, and that's really cool. And makes me really want to watch Daima in English. I mean, I grew up with the Funimation dub and stuff like that. Ocean dub as well, but Funimation dub primarily. But they're bringing her back, and she hasn't been Goku since Dragon Ball. So, and the games or whatever, like the old games before they changed the voice actress. But yeah, so Daima's really awesome, really, really fun. It's Dragon Ball. Go watch it, have fun, turn your brain off, grab you some popcorn, and enjoy you some Dragon Ball action in a whole new realm. And again, it just feels like a JRPG, because they're like getting all these different towns, different realm, different items, different stuff like that. It really does feel like a JRPG, and it's a lot of fun. But yeah, that was my Daima talk. From Daima update, weekly Daima update from your boy Crow. But yeah, we're going to head into the topic of today. I feel like this is something that a lot of people, that's been on everybody's mind with the release of not just the WIT animated version, well, I guess not released, but the announcement of the WIT animated version of One Piece, where they're going to be remaking One Piece. And I guess just shorten it up, it's going to be their version of Dragon Ball Kai, but they're doing the One Piece, which is going to be a whole new reanimated version of One Piece. They're also doing a reanimated version of Fishman Island arc. So they're going back to a prior arc and fully reanimating. I guess the first episode dropped today.
Twice.
Yeah, which is insane to me. And it's been a current trend. Hunter x Hunter. You have the 1999 version of the anime. I don't know why that sounded weird to me, but I was correct. But 99 version of Hunter x Hunter, and you got the 2011 version of Hunter x Hunter, where they redid and reanimated the anime. They just did it now with Rurouni Kenshin. They're reanimating the story again with that. So I thought to myself, I was like,
really
you know
good.
what?
I'm enjoying it. It's looking really good so far. All the characters are good. The animation's clean. There's like a little bit of choppiness, but it's like, it's not that bad. It's definitely like acceptable for like what it is.
So I was thinking to myself, I was like, what anime would I like to see come back? Because the cool thing about having an anime redone like that is that you get new fans into it. I watched the original OG Hunter x Hunter from the late 90s, early 2000s, and I loved it. I thought the animation was on point. Kurapika versus, what's his name, Hanzo, the first
Spider dude? I don't know.
Spider dude. Yeah, his name was like Uvagan or something like that. But that fight looked awesome. Anything Killua did was cool as hell when he ripped the dude's heart out. Like the old, hand-drawn on cell animation looks so good. But the new Hunter x Hunter also looks really, really, really good as well. New Hunter x Hunter looks fantastic. It's great. And a whole new crop of fans now love Hunter x Hunter. for this next generation. And I thought it was, I think it's a good idea. So I was like, okay, the topic for today, like, what anime would we like to see reanimated? Vix, I would like you to go first.
I got the perfect one. The millisecond I read this message, I had it. Air Gear.
Oh,
bring Air Gear
God.
back. Give it the true ending that the manga had. That shit is amazing. Bring Air Gear back. Petition 2024. Bring Air Gear back.
That'll be the first signature.
Start from the beginning. Let's hear it.
I love Air Gear.
It was so creative. All the characters were interesting. Powers were interesting. The ending was sick. What is this?
It sucks.
I didn't say it.
I loved Air Gear so much. I love the opening. I love rollerblading. You know, I grew up in the day when rollerblading was really cool. We would go to Cascade.
Rollerblading
and
was
it was
still
like
cool.
this. I mean, true. We would go to Cascade down here, and we would go like rollerblading and skating with all my cousins and stuff like that. Like, I love skating. So when Air Gear came out when I was like a teenager, I loved it. I thought it was so cool. It was like in that era where it's just like Beyblades and, you know, like that kind of Metabots. Like, it was like kids doing things with like mechanical stuff, and it was like really, really cool. I really, really like Air Gear. I would love to see him because, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Air Gear did kind of age. It was from that era of anime, like the mid-aughts, like Get Backers and the anime of that ilk, where like Tenjo Tensei, like they all kind of look like that, and the animation's kind of like good at some points, but not so great sometimes. I would love for them to redo. I would love for them to do.
Yeah, see, like some of them, like
I love Air
Tenjo
Gear.
Tenge, they're like part of their charm is the style of animation that they had at the time. But I think Air Gear could do really well with like a good studio. Imagine this. I want you to close your eyes. Picture this: UFOtable reanimating Air Gear.
Oh my God! I can see it in my mind's eye.
I see it in my mind's eye. I can picture it. Oh.
What is Ufotable working on outside of Fate and Demon Slayer?
I don't know what Ufotable's working on right now.
Because they're such a great studio. Fate looks amazing. So, Demon Slayer looks amazing. They can work on some more stuff. You know, please take the load off of Mappa. Hire them to do some stuff. Oh, that would be so sick. I talk about Air Gear all the time with like Ra because we loved Air Gear. So we would like send each other like TikToks about Air Gear or whatever. And then there's this like TikTok channel that I just randomly came across, probably because I kept liking Air Gear stuff, where they have these electric rollerblades and they keep playing the Air Gear opening, and they're like, Air Tech's real now.
UFO is working on a Genshin Impact anime.
Ain't no way.
To be announced, untitled Genshin Impact series.
Oh my! I mean, I'm not gonna hate on it. You know, if people like Genshin Impact, that'd be cool.
Okay, so I like Genshin Impact, but that is not what I expected.
That's not what I expected either.
Witch on the Holy Night that's coming out. Otherwise, it's just been like Demon Slayer, Fate's Day. They did Garden of Sinners. I didn't know Ufotable worked on the Tales games. That makes a lot of sense. Tales is fucking awesome.
Yeah, the little animated bits in the Tales games are always fucking peak. They look so good.
Yeah, it seems like those are the only two things that we are aware of that they're working on is the Genshin Impact series and that one movie.
Yeah, I'm excited for all the Demon Slayer stuff.
Give them more work.
But yeah, no.
They're so fucking good.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Bring back Air Gear, dude. Air Gear is so sick. And I don't remember where the anime ended off.
I think they did finish it, but I'm pretty sure they did like an anime only ending.
Yeah,
and it like
there's only 20.
I don't remember.
It just ended in the middle of something.
But I just know it didn't go to as far as the manga did, and the manga had a sick ending. It was, dude, it was like that. It was like a fight in the middle of a tornado. It was fucking sick.
Dude, I need to
go back and read it.
I need to find the manga. Yeah, because I never read it. I don't know where it is. I'm going through so many. Dude, I'm reading Undead Unluck. I'm about to start that. It's that other manga that has like the cool chick on the front. Like the red hair and the red jacket. I don't know what it's called, but I got to start reading that. But I'm trying to finish Undead Unluck and get caught up with Sakamoto Days. I could look it up real quick. Vamp while I look it up.
Damn, I don't know what manga I could be talking about. I'm thinking of some.
It's like recent. Cargo Rabachi is another one I got to catch up on.
I want to say that it's like...
It's Goku Rakai Guy.
What?
Okay, it's not a girl with red hair. It's a dude with red hair with a red jacket and this cool chick with a gun. My camera doesn't focus, but yeah,
I fully don't
I just
know that
kept
one.
seeing it. It's only 22 chapters in, but I kept seeing it. I think the art style looks really cool, and then people started talking about it, and I was like, okay, this might be something to get into. So I was like, I want to check that out. And then Kagura Bachi, this is totally off topic, but whatever. Kagura Bachi is another one I'll get into. That was the manga that everybody hyped up before the chapter came out.
Like 5 chapters, and I was like, this is average.
So it was the whole thing about Kagura Bachi was so weird. Kagura Bachi, before the first chapter came out, everybody kept hyping it up as like the next best shonen, right?
And I was wondering why everybody was doing that, and it was like because of the author had like a previous one shot or something.
Yeah.
And it was apparently like so good, and I was like, okay, let me go check out the one shot. And I went to go check out the one shot, and I was like, that too is also average. So
Dude,
I was
funny
like,
thing is, there's a couple of funny things.
They fucking lied.
Yeah, so it was all a meme pretty much. Like they kept
got
memeing.
me. They tricked me.
Yeah,
Glad I wasn't April
they
Fools.
got everybody. The whole meme was that it was Kagura Bachi was the sword, like him drawing the sword, like that one piece of art that came out before the manga came out. Everybody was like, "Oh, this is gonna be the greatest thing ever," and they kept like using that one piece of art. And they went fan animated and stuff.
I was like, are you guys not going to tell me anything else about this show?
That was it. It was like, this is going to be the greatest thing. This is already the greatest manga of all time. The highest selling.
Coming in.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the new big 3 by itself. And it was crazy. And you know that they pretty much got Alex Lee, the English voice actor for like Zenitsu and Sun Jin-woo Solo Leveling. He was like, oh, dude, I loved you in the first episode of Kagura Bachi. And he was like, wait, what? He's like, I was in... What anime is this? And he was like, did I voice in this? And he said he looked it up and he was like, it just came out as a manga. He was like, that's how deep the rabbit hole of the meme went. And it was so funny to me. But actually, it's solid. Like, Kagura Bachi is solid. I like the power system of the
7.5. From what
katanas.
I read, it's like a 7.5 from what I read.
But
it could get better.
But it gets better.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's getting better. It's getting more deep. Like at first, it starts off like it's kind of generic, where it's like his dad made all these cursed katanas, and then people wanted to come for him, and you know the typical thing happens, and then he's going for revenge because it's kind of like standard stuff. And I'm just like, oh, you know, this is enjoyable, but I've seen this story before. But then as they like you read the manga and you see the action and how it flows, it looks really fucking good. And I like how you can really follow the action in the panels. And then as you start to learn more about Chihiro, whatever the main character's name is, and then like the other characters and the guy who was working with his dad. You know, it's really good. I think that Kagura Bachi is actually really good. So I think that it's really funny that memes kind of became reality because everybody kept joking about how it was going to be like the best thing ever. And then everybody was like, this thing isn't even out yet. And then it actually came out and it's like, oh, it's a really solid, like really good shonen. And I like it. So I'm really enjoying it. And I think the art's sick. So, you know, I think it's really good. But anyway, that's not even the topic. That's going to be a TikTok. I'm going to cut that out and make that to a TikTok. But the anime, so there's a couple of things that I'll get into this really briefly. So there was a Naruto remake that's supposed to be in the works, right? There's this Naruto 4-part remake.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like 4 episodes, and it was supposed to be like the Valley of the End fight. And they're like, animation isn't up to par. We're postponing it until we can get it released or up to a quality that we're happy with. And that was like 4 years ago.
Yep. And so apparently Kishimoto was just like, I don't think this is good enough. We need to make this good. Because apparently it's supposed to be like the whole Naruto saga.
They forgot that they didn't release it.
I don't know what's going on with it.
They just like let it sit. It's like gathering dust in the corner. They're gonna see it pop up one day 10 years from now, and they're gonna be like, oh shit, we did say that.
I'm gonna be there. But yeah, apparently each episode is supposed to be like a saga of Naruto. So it's like the first episode is gonna be like all the Zabuza stuff, like from the beginning to Zabuza.
That's cool though. I would love to see the Naruto bridge arc reanimated.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, so I think that's really cool to get all those pivotal fights and everything like that, like reanimated. Because again, in Daima, they show a lot of the Buu saga. Because like the main demon like tribe or whatever, like the king or whatever, Goma or whatever the name is, they're rewatching the Buu saga, being like, what happened to Buu? What happened to Dabura? Why did he die? Like what happened? And you see all that stuff reanimated. Oh my god, it looks so good. Oh, I would love for them.
The shiny new anime coating on it. Whenever I see it, you can definitely tell that it was like it's the new one. You can tell,
dude.
It's got that new car smell on it.
Oh yeah, seeing Goku like. Super Saiyan 2 Goku versus Majin Vegeta reanimated. Seeing Gohan fight Super Buu, like, oh god, it looks so good. It looks so good. But anyway, That Naruto and Dragon Ball wouldn't be my ones. I would love for them to remake. This would be honorable mention. I would love for them to reanimate the original Dragon Ball. Right. I love Dragon Ball, but not a lot of Dragon Ball Z fans watch Dragon Ball, and it's important. It's important to the story because it continues direct. Like in the manga, all of it is just Dragon Ball. Z isn't a thing. You know, it's a delineation from the old anime to the new one, but it's not a thing. All of it is Dragon Ball, and you miss like so much of like Goku's growth as a martial artist. You know, when he was younger. If you don't watch Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball has some good bits, and you can go back and fix some of the pacey stuff, get rid of some of the filler, and have people get the full breadth of the story. Because then, for people who are like, "Oh, Krillin sucks, Tien sucks, Yamcha sucks," all the humans get left behind. Well, now you're gonna see Tien be like the biggest threat. Piccolo's like the main villain, and you get to see the Piccolo that we know grow up and see how he became a good guy.
Everybody's just gonna see it and be like, "Why did they kind of butcher Tien and Z? What happened?"
I mean, true, but you can at least see them in their heyday when the Wolf Fang Fist meant something.
Watch them, and then like every time you see one that's decent, you're like, "What happened?"
Well, that's why it pains me in Tournament of Power when Tien's just like, what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna grow extra arms and then lose immediately. I'm just like, kill me now. But anyway. At least Krillin did some stuff, but whatever. And Yamcha didn't even join. He was just like, I'm retired. And I was like, or they didn't even ask him.
Now.
Yeah, they didn't even ask Yamcha. He was like, oh, they're going to ask me. And it was like a gag in one of the episodes and nobody came to his house. And he was just like, oh. I was like, cool, I guess. But anyway, I would love for them to do that, but that's honorable mention. Obviously, I want the Naruto one to come out. But the one that I would really want them to remake was 100% Berserk. I want them to reanimate Berserk. I love Berserk, but the only real anime that's worth
specifically they should only do season 2. From what I understand is that season 1 was animated well.
The only problem
specifically they should just do 2.
Yeah, the only problem is season 1, like the golden arc or whatever it is, I forget what it's called. But that arc is animated well in the 1999 anime. The funny thing is that sucks is that, the funny thing that I always thought was funny was like whenever everybody cut the aerosol spray of blood, was always funny to me. But the thing that sucks is that you can't find it anywhere. Like unless you have the actual like DVD copy of it, there's nowhere streaming. Like you can't watch it. That's the only real problem, and that's why like they need to remake it. And please give somebody give a proper studio to do it.
Yeah, because UFOtable ain't working on too much.
Exactly. Give it a UFOtable, man. That would be awesome. Because the thing is that Berserk is one of the greatest pieces of fiction, period. It's literally a masterpiece of a manga.
For it not being accessible, it is talked about all the time.
Like, legitimately.
There's just a gold mine waiting to happen. Come on, guys. We're supposed to be making money out here.
The manga is legendary. It's some of the best art you will ever see in a manga. The story is incredible and deep and bloody and brutal. Think Vinland Saga, but if Thorfinn was like, yeah, he said fuck farming. He was like, I just want problems always, blood always. That's Berserk. Like literally Berserk inspired Vinland Saga. That's why I thought it was interesting when they went to the whole farm route. Cause I was like, oh, we're not getting the same thing. But Berserk is that times 1,000. Like Berserk is amazing. It's a fucking masterpiece. And it's sad that the manga could pass before he can finish his work. But I still think it's a story worth being told because it's a series that's been going on since like the 80s. It's so much to pull from. And the original anime from the 90s is amazing. But then they gave it to a new studio in 2016, like 20 years later.
Try something new here. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's see what we got.
And they did it as CGI. Like they did a remake of the original arc, the Golden Arc with, Griffith, Casca, and Berserk, Guts, Griffith, Casca. They remade it. And it's like a hybrid of CGI and 2D animation. And for what it is, I think it's fine. Like the 3 movies that came out, they were all on Netflix. So the beginning of the story is kind of accessible since you can't watch the original anime, but it's still like it's serviceable. Like it looks really good. It's modernized. They brought back all the old voice actors in English from the original anime, which the voice actors are amazing. If you guys have ever seen that meme of the 4 Kids dub of One Piece, where Zoro's like yelling Luffy, the voice actor that plays Zoro, who's like the one good voice actor from the 4 Kids dub, he's the guy that voices Guts in the English dub of Berserk from the old anime. They bring everybody back, and it's fantastic.
It's almost weird to know that.
Yeah, I'm a huge Berserk fan. But anyway.
I mean, it's like knowing the connection now. They feel like such different characters. It feels weird to have that information.
That's what I'm here for, putting Eldritch knowledge in your cranium. But yeah, so it's like Berserk is amazing. I think that them doing a disservice to Miyata's work with the 2016 anime, where it's all CGI, is
Literally
poorly animated.
Offensive.
Yeah, like it angers me as a Berserk fan that they would take one of the greatest stories in fiction and butcher it so badly. It's disrespectful. Like think the Blue Lock season 2, 7 Deadly Frames, but it's not just any anime. It's like one of the best anime of all time. It's like they did that shit to Fullmetal Alchemist of Frieren. Like think if we got the next season of Frieren and it's animated like Blue Lock.
Oh. There would
Then
be
close your
riots
eyes
in the
and imagine
streets.
that one.
There'd be riots in the streets.
You know what I mean? That's what it feels like as a Berserk fan. It's just like you tell people like, yo, it's this amazing story, but the only way you can really get it is you buy these giant black demon books, essentially like these giant omnibuses where you can get them. I went to Barnes and Nobles recently and bought some novels. I still got to read them. And I saw the Berserk novels and they're huge. And it's like 18, 20 volumes and they're all like this thick and like these really, really cool, like black hardcover books. And the art is just so amazing. I was like, I want to buy these. I want to own these. Berserk is amazing, and it deserves a remake, dude. It deserves it because Berserk does not deserve to get the treatment that it got. It's embarrassing. And as an anime fan, there should be somebody who's like, we need to fix this because it's literally it's disgusting. Like that they do that to this series. If anything else, it makes no sense to do it to this body of work. You know what I mean?
We talk a lot of shit on this show.
Yeah, I will. Like I normally like
I try out studios.
Yeah, like I would like I'm normally very like I'm very understanding. I get it. Animation is very difficult. I can't animate nothing, so I get it. I get it. I'm normally not this harsh, but Berserk is like my favorite manga. Yeah, Berserk is my favorite manga. And it feels like watching Guts Cartman bounce off the fucking screen like a South Park character is fucking embarrassing, man. Fix your shit.
That's wild. That's a real thing.
Yeah, it's
I've
terrible.
seen that before, and I thought it was a Fanimation, and I was like, oh, that's funny. And then I just didn't know about it.
Yeah, it sucks. It is Berserk is Full Metal. Berserk is Frieren. Berserk is that good. And to have that story be butchered to the point of obscurity is embarrassing. And you can't just tell everybody like, all right, this manga's been out for 40 years. Go back and find all the volumes, the paperback or the hardcover omnibuses.
Good luck.
It's too much. Yeah. I went to Barnes and Noble and they had
a couple.
Oh yeah, they didn't have all of them. They were missing like volume 7 and 9
either. They're never missing like 1, 2, and 3.
Nope.
They always have like 2, 5, and like 13, and you're like, what the? How do you only have these ones?
That's what sucks. And it's like I looked at them online on Amazon, and the price is crazy.
So you gotta go to like Bookwalker or something, and that's not cheap for us, especially like living in the States. You have to get that like imported. That is not cheap.
Yeah, but it's worth it. So I think if any anime or any manga deserves to be remade as Berserk.
That was probably really good. Hey, if it came back, I would watch it.
It's all the good
things,
dude.
All the good things that I've heard, I would definitely give it a shot.
It's like dark. It's adult. It is the seinen manga. It's so good. Like
who would you have animated?
Mappa.
Think Mappa could do it?
You sure you want
to give it to Mappa? You want to give Mappa more?
I don't. No, I feel like that would be a fucking curse. But I would give it to. If we're not going to do Ufotable and we're not going to do.
I feel like Ufotable is really good for like the fantasy-esque ones with like a lot of special effects. I think Mappa would be a pretty good fit. It's just like they have a lot of shit. So,
but yeah, I'm trying to think like what studio has done like the studio that did Vinland Saga. 100%.
Who did Vinland? Who is it?
Oh wait, fuck. Was it Mappa? Wait. No, it can't be Mappa.
Vinland Saga
Animation Studio. Let me see. Who did it?
I think, no, it wasn't Vinland Saga.
Oh, it was Wit Studio and Mappa. Give her the Wit. Give Berserk to Wit.
Wit is doing the One Piece too.
Hey, they can do the One Piece and they can do the Berserk.
Give it to somebody else. Oh, I know. You ready for this?
I'm ready. I'm ready.
Give it to. This is satire, by the way. I want everybody to know that this is a fucking joke. Give it to Dean Studio.
Wait, what did Dean Studio animate?
Frames.
I'll kill you. No, give it. Who did Frieren?
Dude, what if you got somebody to reanimate Berserk and they fucked it up again?
I would literally. I would have to pull out the little tiny katana.
I would tell them to reanimate season 3 and on of Seven Deadly Sins.
I'd be like, I'm sorry.
Fucking good, dude. Seven Deadly Sins is so good. I don't want to have to put the disclaimer on it anymore. It's good.
Let me see. Who did produced by Madhouse? Give it to Madhouse. No. Give it to Bones. Bones is done. They're not doing One Punch Man. Mob Psycho is done.
Oh, I don't know. Like, okay, so like I know Bones is really good, but is that like their style?
They did. What the hell is it? The little kid. I really like this anime. I talk about it all the time, but I forgot what it's called.
Detective Conan.
The little kid. No, the little kid that's like a little warrior guy. It's like a storyboard picture book. Oh my god, how did I forget this? I really love that anime.
Little kid.
Yeah, he's like a kid. It's like a storybook. It's done by Bones. Hold on, I can look it up. This is terrible. I'm like looking stuff up on the podcast.
Yeah, you're gonna tell me what it is. I'm gonna be like, I don't know how I didn't think of that either. You at home, put it in the comment. If you're here, this is a secret call out. Put it in the comments before we figure out what it is.
Can you guess it before I find it?
What? Get it. Find out what it is quick before they do.
Dude, this is gonna bug me. This is gonna bug the crap out of me. It's so good too. It's so good. Where is it? Not anime films. I look at all this. Oh, they're doing My Hero, actually. I'm gonna have an honorary mention here. Mostly, this is gonna be honorary mention mostly because I know that I loved this, but I don't remember too much about it because it was like very condensed. If you've ever heard of Darker Than Black, that was a really good one. They had very interesting powers. And it wasn't animated poorly. It's just like I would like to see it again. I want to see what they could do with it. It was probably one of the probably more smooth ones, but I want to see it in new gen animation. I want to see it not CGI. Hey, you know who did Darker Than Black? You know who did Darker Than Black? Animated it?
Is it Mappa?
Bones.
Dang it! Oh, for real?
Yeah, Bones did Darker Than Black. Darker Than Black was cool, man. Give it back to them. Let them do it again.
All right, Bones. Let's see what you got. This is a call out.
Oh my god, how can I not find Ranking of Kings? There we go. Good lord. Ranking of Kings.
Yeah, Bones did
Ranking of Kings was Bones and Wit Studio because they traded off a season.
Controversial take here. Controversial take. I didn't like Ranking of Kings.
I loved it.
I didn't like it. I think it was okay.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That was you get. That was you get. Even your old stream is mess with you.
I don't get it. Like,
I thought Ranking of Kings was phenomenal.
Why? It's a deaf kid.
Yeah.
What? So
the thing that I liked about Ranking of Kings was seeing Bocchi's story, how it all kind of came into play. All the characters all have this intertwined relationship that evolves over time. How were we talking about with the Notorious Talker? How it circumvents your expectations. They do that with a lot of the characters in Ranking King. Bocchi's older brother, who's like his stepbrother, his stepmother, the powerful soldiers in the war. Like all of them have this like relationship with Bocchi, and things kind of like change over time. I really, really, really enjoyed.
For those watching the video,
enjoyed Ranking King.
That is not true. I don't hate deaf children. For those watching the video, and for those listening to the audio podcast, Didgeridookie just lied in our chat saying that I hate deaf children. I actually typically like the shows that like enable the like disabled children. It's like, you know, Toph is really good. The other the wheelchair dude in Avatar was really good, who had like the glider. Silent Voice was fucking amazing. I just don't get it with Ranking of Kings. Like, it was not bad. Like, I'm not gonna say I hated it. I just didn't get it.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I understand that. Not everything is gonna be everybody's cup of tea. I loved it. Like, I thought Ranking of King was amazing. But then also it's like very like big on like son and mother relationships, and you know that's a whole soft spot for me. It also, I like that it was like the art style was like very storybooky, but also very, very. This is your new Cowboy Bebop take.
All right. This is a TikTok. Fuck.
But I loved how it was like a storybook, but also very dark, but also very light and charming. The action was really fucking cool. I love Kage, the little shadow guy. I thought the English dub was really good. I liked how Bochi, for a kid who was overcoming those handicaps from, not being able to talk and also having the curse on him for being very weak for a giant. I thought it was incredible. Like, I really enjoyed it, but not everybody going to enjoy the same cup of tea. The way that I always look at stuff like that.
So I didn't watch the second season because I really didn't care for the first season. So I was like, I just don't want to watch the second season. When I was watching the first season, I spent so much time on his like stepmom. I was like, why is she being such a bitch?
Well, it's just like political games.
I
what I mean?
that he was like overcoming it, but it didn't to me. It didn't really feel like he was overcoming it. It felt like he was being walked through it. And I was like,
well,
yeah, he's putting his best foot forward, but everything just kind of fell into his lap. So
I don't know. It felt like an old timey storybook journey, like a King Arthur tale, where it's just like you get to see Bochi kind of go through everything, and he works on getting stronger in his own way since he does have a lot of power. He's very fast and very precise with his strikes. He gets trained to get better, but at the same time, it's like all these people are coming together and helping him along the way as well. I don't know. I thought it was like a really fun storybook journey that got a little dark in some places, had some really touching and very emotional moments between Kage and his mother and what happened with all the shadow kin from his village that got destroyed, and Bochi with his mother, her passing early, and everything that happened with the political games that his dad was playing, trying to reincarnate himself so that he can continue living on after he had the pact with the devil that made him strong enough to fight. Like, it's a lot of interesting political stuff that I didn't really expect from a show like that looks like it's a kid's storybook. Because his father does, like, he's like a giant that was very strong, but then there was other people that come in to invade his village. So he made a pact with the devil. The devil gave him the strength to fight back, but he paid for it with his health in his later years. So he pretty much sold his soul. But he had this whole political game while he got married again after his previous wife died to pretty much reincarnate himself into his stepson so that he can live on. It's so many, like, intriguing, like, there's so many threads in the story that all coalesce in such a beautiful way. And it all makes sense throughout this 26 episodes of a show that I thought was really interesting and really fun. The animation is on point. All the fight scenes are fucking amazing. There's like a little dip in between the studio change and season 2 where I felt like they were just like, oh, it's just a little journey. They're not going to really animate it too well. But then it kicks right back up in the later half of the season where Bochi has to fight everyone, where he literally fights everyone. And the animation is great. I thought the story was great. I thought everything wrapped up nicely. I enjoyed it.
More combat in the first season. They took so long to get Bochi out of that training room.
Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and that's what I liked about it.
I was like, I heard so many good things about it, and I was like, I just could not vibe with it. Like, I just sat there and I was like, I don't hate anything in particular from the show.
You just hate children.
Yeah, just them fucking kids, But like, I don't know. Some shows you just watch and you're like, why do you like this? And it's like, I don't know. I just vibe with it. And I was like, this one is just one I just don't vibe with. I literally could not give you a good reason other than that. Like, that's just it. I just didn't get it. I like recognized the good storytelling. Like, I could tell everything was well connected. The characters weren't all dull. The stepmom, she had like a realistic personality where she made mistakes and like a real person would make those kind of mistakes. But there was some things that I just didn't understand was happening. Like, why was his stepmom the only one that could use, and then like, if she's the only one that could use magic, why is like everybody not like getting on that fucking train? She heals like 2 people. And it's like, I feel like that would be my job all day, every day.
Yeah, it kind of just became her job to just heal Bochi and other people that helping him. But she can only heal like a couple people and she get drained and she has like chug like mana restoring potions and stuff.
Fat suit of armor, and then she just got like 25 mana pots under there. And I'm like, I was like, does nobody else have magic? Like, there's no other. She's the only healer. I'm like, well, teach Bochi some magic. He's got like, that would make sense. It would be like, most magic usually comes from reading a book anyway. Give him a book.
Give him a book. But yeah, really enjoyed that. But that doesn't need to be remade. But I think that if Wit or Bones did Berserk, I mean, they're doing an amazing job because I really and truly enjoy, My Hero. I think My Hero's animated well. I don't understand why everybody's complaining about the Blue Sky My Hero. I think all the people that were complaining got shut up when the new season came out. It was so annoying. It was so annoying being on Twitter and just watch people complain. The Blue Sky, the theme, the this. And then when the season came out, you see,
I saw
Armored
people
Might.
like compare frames, and like one of them had Stars and Stripe in her All Might pose, and she had like 4 stars in the panel, but she only had 3 in the anime. And I was like, who the fuck cares? Like, why are you counting?
I want to beat you with a hammer. It's like, I don't know. It annoyed me. It very much annoyed me. But I would
reanimate it.
reanimate all of my heroes.
Get a 4-star.
But no, Berserk would 100% be mine. But hey, if you guys want to join the conversation, what anime would you like to see remade? Is there a classic anime from your youth that you would like to be brought back to a new generation? Is there an anime or a manga that you felt like didn't get the love that it deserved? That's tender TLC. And you would like to give it to another studio to have it reanimated and brought forth and done justice. I would love to see them redo the bad season of 7 Deadly Frames. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot. And I think that outside of the negative connotation of being like, oh, the studio fucked up. But, just still, I think it would be a good way to introduce a new generation into the anime. Like what they're doing with One Piece and what they're doing with the Naruto one. I really think that I think it's a good way, especially something that's been old and been going for a long time, or never really got to finish, or didn't get the proper ending, like Fullmetal Alchemist, one of the best animes of all time, redone to be made even better. And I still think that both hold up, but Brotherhood is. I don't know.
I feel like if they were to try to reanimate Full Metal, there's no way they're gonna get it to
I'm just saying that they did because you had the original and then they did Brotherhood.
But they just had like the same animation style. It was just a different story.
I mean, pretty much, but still, you know what I mean? Like they redid it and did it right. They did it justice, and that's what we would like. Because I want good anime, man. I don't want Blue Lock, but not everything's going to be Fullmetal Alchemist.
Every time we offer up a new series to somebody, crossing our fingers, it's like 50-50 that this thing either comes out Unlimited Blade Works or Frame Lock. What do we get here?
Yeah, I'm sure Nova was remastered, reanimated. Just this honorable mention for Nova. Reanimate remaster for that man. Please.
Try again, please.
Please. I felt so bad. I saw the light leave his eyes. He ain't even on camera.
He doesn't even want to give us Nova notes anymore after that one. We started off this series that one day there might be a Nova Notes episode, and then Remaster came out. He was so excited. He was giving us the rundown, and then crickets. Nothing. They stole it. They stole it from him.
But yes, well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with your boys for the episode 30 of the DNAnime podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, if you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you know every Sunday when a new podcast episode comes out. Give us a rating and a review on your audio podcast service of your choice and join the conversation. Let us know what anime you would like to remake. We will catch you guys next week for episode 31. We'll see you guys then. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Johnny.
Bye.